Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mind Scrambler podcast. This is the Mind Scrambler interview, and I have an amazing guest with us today. Her name is Tasia Valenza, and I'm going to let her tell you about what she does because she does it so much better than me.
Oh, thank you. What a lovely introduction. Mike. Let me talk about me because nobody loves me more than me. But there's something to be truthful about that. I do. I love myself and I work on that. But my name is Tasia Valenza, and I am an Emmy-winning voiceover artist and TEDx speaker and passionate, mission-driven lover of what it means to give great voice, which at its essence means to move, touch, and impact using our voices. So I teach the art of confident, considerate, compassionate communication by utilizing the skills of an actor and a voiceover actor, so you can play your professional and personal roles more successfully and more meaningfully. So in a nutshell, I've taken my skill sets as much as very aligned with what you do. And I've learned throughout my 35 years that I can take the same skills that have made me a great actor and a voiceover actor to aspirationally play these roles and utilize some of these skills to help me play my real life roles. And my dedication now is to teach that same skill to the world, because we need to use our voices, and it's still our most powerful communication tool. And a lot of us aren't using them as well. So I want to bring in voice back.
I like that. I felt that right there. Bring your voice back, yo.
Bring it.
So, well, now to start this out, one thing that I'll usually do with everybody, let's talk a little bit of a little shop, a little bit about, hey, who have you voiced that people know, so they'll be like, oh my gosh, I got to stick around and watch, because then we get to the good stuff later. Let's hook them in now.
Okay, good. Well, so I'm known for some of my iconic roles. I've done every part. I always say I do everything with Kabuki, but some of my more well-known roles is a Poisonous Poison Ivy in the Arkham games and many iterations of that. And I've played a Jedi Shakti from the Clone Wars, and even Sniper Wolf from Metal Gear Solid. And these are some of the ones that are well-known, that have kind of an iconic following. I was recently Vanessa Doza in Star Wars Resistance, and I've been, the voice of SoapNet, so kind of a little bit of everything. But in terms of animation, I know that people do have their favorites. I've had those and a few others people can check out that have made me beloved by many.
Fantastic. I love it. That's one of the things that it kind of sticks with us after a while. Being in voiceover world and having something that you've done that's iconic, and it's just kind of like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's funny because, when I did Sniper Wolf and Metal Gear Solid, this was early in the day. And I only found out through a friend that, they were going to do a reboot with Sony, and, and he was like, video games are getting huge. And I'm like, really? Because I wasn't on social media. And it wasn't until like 6 years ago when I went on Twitter, I was like, and I got to see the scene that actually made, the character so famous, and how huge it was, that like the light bulb of like, wow, where have I been? What rock have I been under? So it was actually very, very cool to see the evolution. But I kind of, wished I had gotten on the train a little earlier, because, I was an old lady who was like, what's that hashtag pound thing? And I have to press what? So it took me a little while, but now I'm everywhere, platform wise, and I'm still learning every day, and I'm delighted, that I get to connect with you because of great platforms like LinkedIn. So there you go, old dog, new tricks.
That's how we connected, LinkedIn, and a lot of people still not using LinkedIn, and I'm really kind of shocked by that. It's like people like, I don't know what's going on with my business. Are you on LinkedIn?
Right. No. It is. I will have to concur that it has become the most meaningful platform where I have met the best quality people and had the most, satisfying interactions, more than any of the other platforms. Not that they aren't great, but there is a depth here that I find that, and maybe it's the professional aspect, but people seem just more willing to be genuine or take more time to connect. So I've loved the platform and the relationships that I've made here.
Absolutely. I think it's kind of like going to the marketing mode real fast. It's like the Jay Abrahams idea of relationships. It's like most people they're kind of a tight knit industry in Hollywood. Oh, voiceover, let's all get together. We all know everybody and back and forth. I mean, there's so many people that I don't know.
Right.
Like you, I met on LinkedIn, not through Hollywood. And
Right.
it's interesting because also in LinkedIn, you're connecting with people who have nothing to do with the industry that we're in. And it's very interesting because you get some of these amazing life lessons from somebody who's a basketball coach in North Carolina. I mean, you never know.
Yeah. Or Australia. I mean, that's the thing, is like, it's so global now. I know it's so global that, and because of this particular year, I have so many more relationships in Australia and different parts of the world than the localized ones I would have had we not been in this situation, and with COVID. But it's definitely been a tremendous platform in terms of opening up international relationships as well as just national ones. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Now, a couple of things I was looking at. So I was checking out, obviously, I do a little research, and I was looking at some of the things that you've done.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to geek out a little bit because sci-fi is my geek out. So I tell everybody, I say, this is kind of the Mind Scrambler podcast is predominantly for the geek and nerd world, because that's who listens to me. So that's who I'm hitting now. Eventually, LinkedIn will pick up and et cetera, and because my message is global. But I'm focusing now on this realm, and I was just like, okay, Space Above and Beyond. By the way,
okay,
I love that show.
Well, thank you. You're the one.
And,
that was a great show.
Did you know Iva Frank Singer?
Yeah, why is that name so familiar?
She was one of the replicant people, the 4 or 5 that were like androids or something like that.
Well, you know what? This was I was just having their 25th anniversary from the time that we shot it. So if I did know her, only because it's like 25 years, I can't believe it. They're having a Christmas special this year, but I don't remember her. But give me the cells don't quite work as well as they did.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm with you. But
that was a great show.
Also, through the con world, funny enough, the guy who played I forgot his name. He was the blonde or white hair, and he was like the general or the captain.
James.
Yeah, and he went on to 24.
Yeah.
And I ended up hanging out with him a little bit in London at a convention. And
he's great. Yeah.
He was so nice.
He's
it's a crazy world we live in. And I must say, now that I know you, I know yet another Vulcan.
Well, that is true. I must say that I geeked out when I booked that role, because it was the first adult Vulcan after the original series. So it was Star Wars Next Generation, and they had never introduced a Vulcan. And when I got it, it was like, I am Leonard Nimoy's Spawn. I'm Spawn. It's just, and with the China doll wig, and my eyebrows were like, God, I was like I looked very Tashanic. Yeah, she's again, I feel like, I'm like a little potpourri for a little something for everyone. Because I'm like I said, I look good. I'm old. Because I was on, All My Children at 16. So I have some, some fans from that. And then I did my on camera where I did some Star Trek, I had my, Space Above and Beyond. And then I went into the Star Wars realm. So I'm a little bit all over, a little something for everyone. And I do love to geek out on those myself, because I'm a fan of, so when it's like, when you get on something that has such a legendary quality, it's like, oh my gosh, I get to be part of something, this legacy. It's pretty cool.
It was great. And I was also looking at you, like 18, 21 Jump Street, Fame, Cheers. And we were like, we're about the same age. So I was like going, yes, this is cool. I know all of this.
All the bad hair. I call it all the bad hair. I kind of made my way through all that year. And I really have a funny, sizzle reel showing that just for that purpose. Because it's like, just a little, again, Cheers. I mean, it was all over the place. But a lot of these things are back now because of all these platforms that bring these shows back. So something that you think disappears actually comes back. So there's a coolness factor. And actually, then I got to be the most recently in the Star Trek field. I was the voice of the Shenzhou computer for Star Trek Discovery. So I kind of like, again, on camera, off camera, on camera. It's got a little bit of a weaving quality, but I love being associated with these wonderful shows in space.
That was awesome. Now we had connected, and I watched Discovery. Obviously, I watch everything sci-fi, and so I saw that, and I was like, going, I know that person.
That's cool that you heard my voice. Yeah, I was. That is kind of one of those stories where it's like you find out secretly, I'm the voice of the ship. I'm the voice of the ship. Oh my God! And then three ADR sessions later, it's like the ship explodes. What do you mean the ship? How? There's never been a ship that explodes. Why would the ship explode? Oh, there's a new ship. Well, can you flip flop me with the voiceover artist that
I want to be that one.
Can I be on? So that was one of those, like, the most exciting, and then like that pain. Well, why wouldn't they have the same computer voice? It's a computer. It's like Siri. It should go on to the new. I was like coming up with all these excuses, or like, so it was the best of all worlds, and then it was kind of the saddest of all worlds.
It's called a download. Just put it over to the new ship.
We must. I mean, that's part of it. That's the wonderful part of the business, right? It's like there's always a beginning and there's always an end. So you have to roll with it.
Yeah.
Roll with
All right,
it.
so still on just for a second, one more second on our stuff. You and I have worked together.
We have
one time. Saints Row 3.
Oh, MG. Oh my gosh, that is cool. Monica. I played Monica something or other. Who did you play?
I was one of the Saints Row Juice mascots. Saints Row Juice. And
of course,
I was a crazy fan.
Yeah.
I was a crazy fan. It was like, oh my God, he peed on me. That was the best thing ever. It was just ridiculous.
That's great. I'm sure I played some of those, external roles, ancillary roles as well. So that's so cool that we were together, but we didn't work on the same day.
That's right. So, I mean, it's interesting because this is such a wild world. I've been doing acting. I've been acting since almost the same time, a little after you, but I was in Houston for 35 years, and I came to LA about 15 years ago. And so I was doing everything, which is interesting because in LA they try to pigeonhole you as fast as possible.
True.
And so I'm like, I'm an actor. What do you do? I've done some voiceover. Oh, you're a voiceover guy. No, I'm an actor. What do you do? I've done some commercials. Oh, you're a commercial guy. No, I'm not. Never mind. And
yes, they want to get that box on you, which is why I call myself a recovering actress and a fully functioning voiceover artist. AA, Actors Anonymous. Hi, my name is Tasia. I used to be an actor, but now I'm liberated.
Tasia.
I know every day it gets a little easier because I use my voice and nobody tells me I'm too short or too brunette or not too old or all the things that they used to say to me. And with voiceover, you're free to be whatever this beautiful thing can do, and you are no longer, confined to what society says we are. So that's why I love, being a voiceover artist and giving great voice, because we are artists, but we're so defined and confined, by our externals, that it's wonderful to know that people can tap into their talents and their passions and expand it so much more.
Well, let's dive into the Give Great Voice. You found a really good outlet, a very good modus operandi, whatever it is. You got a vehicle for the message. Yeah. You got a really good vehicle for the message. So let's talk about that. How did you jump into this aspect of personal growth and development?
Sure. I think it's like anything, it came from my own search and my own development and working on myself again. As I mentioned, I started really young acting, and I was on my first movie when I was 15, and then I was on All My Children when I was 16, and I lived in New York, and my parents had been actors, but they weren't anymore, but they supported me in doing it. And I kind of had that, that lucky trajectory star. But then I also, that was on the outside, and on the inside, I had a lot of insecurities and a lot of pain, dysfunction, divorced family. And so I was working on myself pretty young. My father sent me to therapy when I was, cause saw that I was in trouble. And so I really started kind of exploring myself, and also as an actor, we're behaviorists. So we're always studying people's behavior. And so I really wanted to work on my internal as well as my external. And I found that, again, as I became a voiceover actor and did more and more of that, along with the therapy and the self-exploration, that I was really much happier using my voice and not being defined by this and this exterior. And so when I uh, left on-camera acting at 28, and I devoted myself strictly to voiceover, and I got married, and I had my kids, and had this beautiful life, really, that I'm still so grateful to have. I started teaching these same skills to actors, but noticed that the same skills that I was learning, these 4 questions: who am I in the scene of my life? Who am I speaking to? These are very much the principles of the actors, right? What do I want? And how does my voice and tone support that intention? I started noticing that the same things that helped me to be aspirationally great characters in all the roles that I played as an actor and a voiceover actor helped me to be much more confident, compassionate, considerate in my real life roles. So I had this desire to help people communicate more successfully. And I noticed in the last 5 years that as my desire to share this was going up, in proportion to the amount of people using their voices less. And my fear of the digital communication taking over, it became more of a mission to teach what it means to give great voice. And it kind of culminated into this desire to do a TEDx, because I was like, well, what is it? It's so amorphous. Like, what is give great voice? And at its essence, it means to move, touch, and impact using our voices. So I did a TEDx. It resonated, and from there, that came out last February 7th. And of course, COVID hit March. So I was going to start speaking on stages to, again, inspire, especially young people, to maybe channel their inner superheroes, to use their voices. And now we've been in COVID. So I've been sharing it on platforms, and it's really 3 different aspects: how we program ourselves for success, again, the rewiring, as you speak about, and I talk about it again, that it's learning to speak the language of self-love, which is a foreign language to many of us.
Yep.
So how we give great voice to ourselves. Are we building ourselves up? I'm amazing, I can do anything. Or I'm an idiot, I'm so stupid, I'll never make it. How do we speak to ourselves? So many of us, it's not nice. And so I really feel that that's a proponent of it. And I have a affirmation meditation out that's completely free to support that. And then it's, how do we give great voice to further our goals and our passions, to go out and get the job, to get the raise, to get the girl? How do we speak with that kind of confidence to achieve our dreams? And then how do we use our voices to deepen the relationships that mean the most to us? To say, I love you, as opposed to I heart you, or I'm sorry, as opposed to, I'm sorry. I mean, again, our voices matter so much, and how we use them is so meaningful. And I think COVID exemplifies that all the more, that we have to overcome the ability to even touch each other. We need to move each other even more with our voices. So it's a mission, and it's a passion, and it's something that's very aligned with what you do, how I can help people to speak to themselves and to speak for themselves and to deepen their relationships by learning these simple tools that anybody can learn. That was a mouthful.
That was perfect. Because we are on the same wavelength. I've had a couple of podcasts where I talk just about, one of those: how to rewire, how to, speak with confidence, how to deepen those relationships, and how to speak clearly. Because with my relationship sales dynamics, I've broken it down into several different ways. So I get into the technical aspects of it, but how you say something, like you say, really matters. And it really matters to certain specific people who are, let's say, if you're in the NLP world, they are very audio, or in the bank personality systems, they are very nurturing. And you say something in a totally different manner that's normal to you because of your makeup, but you don't have the EQ or emotional intelligence to understand they hear in a different language, then they're not understanding you at all. In fact, they might even be upset at you for saying, I love you,
Right. Or versus, I love you. right? Because it's it's not the words we say, but it's the remarkable power of tone and intention. So if we understand how our tone and intention support our word for the role in that moment to whom we're speaking, then those words will land in the way that we want, as opposed to, again, repel. It's like I always say that, if we understand, like, poison is poison ivy, she's a seductress, right? I know that about her. She's the mother of all nature, hater of humans. But what my voice can support is that seductive sound. And she would, who she's speaking to, her enemy, let's say it's Batman. What does she want? She wants him to get close enough so she can kiss him and kill him. And he probably wouldn't get so close if she were to say, instead of, hey, Batman, come here. He might come, right? But, hey, Batman, come over here. That's probably not going to seduce him. It's like more of a repellent sound. And my husband confirms that often with me. That's not the sound he likes to hear. But, that's so often we're in reaction mode as opposed to being conscious of, like, that relationship that we want to nurture and further. And we can harm it, whether it's professional or personal, if we're not aware exactly of what you're talking about.
Yeah. I think what I really like about what you're saying is that it's personal, business. It covers everything. I say it covers business, love, and life. And that's, the voice does that. And, I originally was working on some voice trainings, but I got kind of sidelined and started doing other aspects of it. But the voice is so important, and it's always been a part of my coaching and training for personal growth and self-development or business or whatever. And you had mentioned on the KTLA about the mask thing. You said, 90% of our communication is not even, it's not voice at all, which is interesting.
It's actually not the words. It is the behavior, body language. It's the tone. It's not the words. It's the whole package. But it's
Now, were you going off of the Moravian model by any chance? I'm assuming you know that one. If not, it's the
no.
one
I'd love to hear, because I just went online. I mean, I'm always researching, but I don't know that particular model. Please enlighten, because I love.
Absolutely. The Moravian model is, and this is found, I think, in the 70s. You found that 55% is body, is physical, et cetera. Your communication is physical. 38% was tone, pacing, all of that stuff, and 7% was
that's right.
actual words.
Yep. That's what I
find so interesting, and I'm sure you've teach this as well. It's that, what, gosh, if you're sending a text, you're getting 7% of communication power right there. 7% email and text, and that's what people do 99% of the time now.
Right.
So no wonder we're more connected than ever, but we're less connected than ever at the same time.
Miscommunication, right? We're trying to make it up in emojis. Like I opened my TED Talk showing that, like, I'm so excited to give you great voice. And what's the difference between, again, saying things that are emotional with heartfelt voice versus the emoji? And, like giving you couldn't give I could give a TED Talk that might really be memorable, but highly unlikely I could give the same in a TED text that they'll remember.
That's awesome. I'm writing that down.
Check it out. TED Tag. You can't text. You're not going to get a TED text. No one's going to hang around for that. So texts are great. The written word's great for factual information, but when it becomes something emotional and we want to truly connect, the sound, the voice, the frequency, the serotonin and the oxytocin that creates relationship, there's no substitution. That
absolutely not. You're 100% correct, and that's why I'm glad at least Zoom, StreamYard, and Skype, and all that. I mean, they're doing great now with all this, along with the toilet paper in the liquor stores.
Done. And don't forget the hand cleaner. Oh,
it's terrible what's happening out there.
It is so terrible for so many of us. I mean, again, like, we're at the end of it, but the ability that we can overcome it because of technology versus if this happened 10 years ago. I mean, I don't even know how that would have worked in terms of, the isolation factor. But yeah, we need to use our, again, I'll ask my friends, I'll call them and I'll just say, can we FaceTime as well? Because I need the extra bump now. I need it more than ever, that I want to see their faces, because I'm not seeing them. I'm not seeing my friends, for all the reasons we get together. So anytime that we can make that effort, share our feelings at the same time as seeing that person that we love and care about, have a good cry, say I'm afraid, and get someone to hold space for us and give great listening. It's so important right now for our mental health. I mean, this conversation alone, I'm delighted. We're doing it because it's an interview, but I know that I'm so engaged with you and grateful to have this conversation with you.
Well, it's a lot of fun, and I know that we're going to reach people. The beauty of the video and audio is somebody will listen to this 2 years down the road. It can unlock something and help them, and I love that aspect of it. So one thing you did say was holding space for somebody else. Now, in you and me, we know what that means, but a lot of people who are new to personal development, et cetera, they don't understand what that means. Can you say a little bit about that? What holding space for somebody really means?
Of course. I mean, again, I'm sure you have a beautiful definition of it. For me, it would be that, as humans, our desire to be accepted and to be felt, to be understood, comes when somebody in this world will give us their undivided attention, which is at a premium all the more. And I know, as a mother of three, that I definitely have struggled with that myself now. But when someone holds a space, meaning that they're willing to truly attentively listen, actively listen, and hear you and make you felt heard and understood and cared about, that is a rare gift that we can give to whomever we love. But it really, really requires our full, undivided attention. And a lot of times it's not to fix the situation. It's just to be validated and say, I hear you. It sounds like you're going through a hard time, or that must be difficult, as opposed to, well, what can we do to fix it? Or let me get right back to you. I mean, we're so busy nowadays. But to hold space really just means to make someone feel like you're fully present.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, thank you.
That was perfect.
I'm glad you like it.
Well, that was great. Thanks. Bye.
We're done. We're done.
That was so good. We're just leaving it with that.
Is there anything you would add to that?
It really, you hit on being present. And I think that's something that you can really get into mindset when it's about being present, because we're all like, I can multitask with the best of them. It's like, no, you can't. You can't. Science has shown us if you multitask with two things, it's like you smoked a joint or had at least 2 beers, and then you try to add a third in, it's like you might as well just be hammered. Forget it. Right. Because it's just not good. Right. And especially with the mass media that we have, my computer, I'll have 20 tabs open because I'm doing one thing, but I've got to get it out to all of the platforms, et cetera. You know the drill.
I do.
And it's difficult to do. So it's showing people that they can be present with you. And that's so key right now to being, even in Skype or StreamYard or whatever. It's just, like you say, holding that space. It's sacred for them. And it's the listening, the active listening that you said is so key, because we're all waiting to talk. And it's like you didn't process what that person just said. You just want to fix it. Quick side note on that is I wrote a dating book called Food Game, A Man's Ultimate Recipe for Dating Success. And in that, I talk about active listening, how important that is. And even in the Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, they talk about listening, because guys will, whenever, my wife or a girlfriend or anything is saying all these problems and issues, the guy's like, well, let me get my tool belt on and I'm going to fix this right about now. And it's like, no, that's not what she wants. And if she does, she'll tell you. But it's that listening. It's like, just listen. And then say, would you like me to say anything, or just listen? Most of the time you're going to get I just need somebody to listen to me. Yeah. That's holding space.
Yeah. Have you seen that wonderful video? It's not about the nail. If you haven't, you would know it. It's the quintessential guy girl video where, you know, the woman is like, she's talking and it's a profile, like a profile where you don't see her face exactly, and she's talking about it like that she has a headache, and he's like, you could see this guy is really pain listening. She's like, and I'm snagging my sweaters, and I just can't really explain it. Then you turn to her, and she's got this nail sticking out of her head, and he's like, well, you have a nail, and she's like, it's not about the nail. It's not about the nail. Can you just listen? And then she's like, and then she starts talking about all the problems, and he's like, that must be hard. Yes, it's hard. And then she's like, thank you for understanding. They try to kiss, and it's like, you know, he bumps it. He's like, he's like, oh, you're the nail. She's like, don't, you know, but it's completely the quintessential.
That is great.
Oh,
I'm going to check that out.
You gotta watch it. It'll become it's the swan song of the men and women, because she just wants him to be, but there's this freaking nail sticking out. It's like easy to fix, but she doesn't want to be fixed. She just wants him to listen and to understand what's going on with her.
Yeah. And I would say sometimes because of it, she has that space, it allows the nail to fall out.
Well, there you go. That's chapter 2.
Yeah. That's the next round. And that's something that, yes, the holding space. I sorry, I went on a tangent on the holding space. I just thought that's important, that people understand that's really what you're doing. Just allowing people to be heard.
Yeah, and to be understood, and to even just, you know, even if you don't agree with them, there's something to be said to, like, so what I'm hearing you saying is this makes you feel this way, even if that wasn't my intention. Because that's again, when we talk about what I say and what you hear are not a lot of the time the same, right? And so I just had an argument with a family member yesterday because I was asking a question from an innocent point of view, and he was completely taking it as it was an attack. And I was like, one of those like mind warps of why he would. And then I asked my brother, like, what did you blah, blah, and he was like, well, this and this. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. I wish he could have said that. But, you know, even when you think, you know, you really have to gain perspective. But once tone comes into place and defenses come up, then it's usually the breakdown of communication, right? Once there's like a, you know, you feel like you're being attacked or assertive, then the words, again, if they had just been softened, could have gotten in so much easier. So that's why I'm a big proponent, and I teach what I need to learn. I still am working on it all the time. You know, I don't come from like I got it all figured out. You know, as my kids are the first ones to call me out, like, that's not really giving great voice, is it, Mom? Is it? Yeah, smoking. Call me out.
Yeah. How old are your kids?
I have 17, and 15.
Wow. Oh, you're right in it.
I'm right in it.
Yeah. I've got 3 and 1 in the belly. So.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So you're in it. You're in your own in it.
Yeah. I mean, we're in Australia. It was interesting. Just beside most people that listen to me know, I was appearing at a convention down here, which if you haven't, I will connect you because you got to come down. It's great.
I would love to.
Yeah, I've been down here 8 times. I'm very familiar with Australia. And, but everything was going crazy and closing. When Tom Hanks said he had COVID, he was a couple of blocks away from us.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. That was like the pivotal moment, right?
Yeah. So, but we still we did the convention. Luckily we were able to do that. And I had a great convention. It was wonderful. And then everything started shutting down, and we were like, you know, we got Kim's parents off on like the last flight. Wow. And we were like, you know, let's just stay. I'm thinking it'll blow over in a month or 2 and we get a little bit more time in Australia. Great. Well, wow.
Is that why you went to Australia? Is because of COVID? You stayed this whole time? I just assumed you had moved there for some reason. I didn't realize that.
Well, we have quote unquote moved here. I'm still appearing at my last convention.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, well, the craziness here is and I can go into manifesting and all of that. I'm a huge proponent of a book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. It's I love the old school stuff. You know the one I'm talking about, Joseph Murphy.
I love Joseph Murphy.
Well, I manifested this. We as a family manifested this. We are basically in the safest place on the planet right now. Go to Queensland, which also is perfect because my wife's brand is Crown Yourself, Queen. Queensland, sovereign, gold,
Show me
Coast.
the vision board. Let me see that vision board.
Oh, we're actually going to be working on ours for here in a little
That's
bit.
awesome.
But yeah, so it's a different set of situation. You know, having a baby here in Australia, we have no one, but we've made so many friends. You know, now, so it's like, yeah, this is lovely, and I'm actually getting ready to start culinary school so I can get a student visa.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
And still voicing. That's going to be my studio in just a few days.
Hey, I've had my closet for 20 something years, and I come out of it, I go back in, I come out of it, go back in. I mean, this is my office where I teach and I coach, and then I go in my closet because it's the best sound, and
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable. So that's wonderful. I mean, that's magical that you've done that, and I applaud you that you're manifesting your life.
It's wild. It's wild the way things happen, and that's another lesson is, hey, things happen. Roll with it and make it your own. Well, we talk about kind of hit on a book. I like to ask, as a coach and in personal development, do you have books that you might recommend, teachers, trainings, anything like that somebody could go and actively use?
I just in my first 30-day challenge, which was really extraordinary. I loved that. That was a wonderful platform. That was an interactive platform. Oh, my dog just came in. I love it. My big dog. So I'm going to be doing another 30-day challenge, and it's a great way to learn in micro learning and in a wonderful community with walls of wins. And it's wonderful, like only to 5 to 10 minutes. Because again, our science shows that we don't really like to take a lot of information in at once to learn. So that's something. And then I'm working on it in my master program and to get that actually out. Because again, this is something I've mostly been working on one-on-one and doing workshops. So I'm putting more and more content out as I develop it, but it's something that, I'm sure you can appreciate. I'm walking the line between being the voiceover artist, being a voiceover teacher. I teach animation classes, and then being this confidence coach, which is, helping lawyers and doctors and podcasters to give great voice and rock their role. So I'm trying to find the best way. My real passion, of course, is to just be on a stage speaking and, motivating people. But as you know, that is not happening right now. So that's a shift that I'm kind of doing a lot and probably too much at this point. And my hope is to be able to consolidate and help people, one-on-one, then in a program, and then, on a stage, and then still do what I love to do, which is to still, myself give great voice. So I'm kind of finding my way and hoping that, this time next year we'll check in and I'll say, I have 4 programs, but my next interactive program is this Give Great Voice Challenge. And I think I'm going to do it in around Valentine's Day, because self-love, who's more important to love than oneself, and then use that same love and give it out to the world. So it's a transformational 30 days, and people have really, really gotten a lot from it. So it's not like a vocal training as much as it's a life training, like you said, but wrapped up in and using our voices to love ourselves, support ourselves, and support our rules, and deepen those relationships and achieve our dreams. That's my goal.
Yeah. I love that you said, 5 to 10 minutes, because we're coming up on New Year's, and the resolutions, 99% of which are done and already lost by, what is it, the 3rd week of January?
Yeah, those are the statistics.
Yeah, it's like saying, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to do 100 push-ups tomorrow, and you haven't done one.
Yeah.
It's like, you're never going to do that. It's not going to happen. You're going to get discouraged. But if you wake up and say, tomorrow I'm going to do 1.
Habits, little micro, and then habits. And the great thing about the 30 days is that you are building a habit slowly and being supported in a group. So this platform came to me. They said, hey, we love your content. We'd like to have you try it out. And I was so blown away, because a lot of what people were taking away from it wasn't just my learning, but they really take the science. There's a leaderboard and there's points. So, we like to check things off our list. We do have competitive natures. So, people
they gamify it. Okay.
They gamify it and they micro learn. And then they have you focus your wall of wins where everyone gets to high five you. And so all these little things, it forces your brain to think what went right, even if it was just there was a sunset, or I talked to somebody, or, I ate a delicious cone, as opposed to like we so often focus on what went wrong with the day. So the platform really allowed me to share my passion, but all at the same time, get people to focus on gratitude, because that was also another thing, what you're grateful for, in line, and also have that gamification of like, yeah, I got full points. So they really scientifically understand how we like to learn nowadays,
Right.
and it much more transformational and made the habits stick.
Mm-hmm. That was something that one of my mentors, she was pushing gamification. She did it with her entire company, and changed different things, saying that's how people are learning. So I think that's very interesting. I'd love to hear more about that from you.
I would love to share more
over here. Definitely give me links and all of that so I can help promote you as well on your 30-day challenges and master programs and everything. And if you have an affiliate thing, let me know.
Oh, for sure. We're like, we're two sides of the same coin.
Oh, yeah.
Both like,
You're
the frick to my frag. You're the,
hey, I love it. It's fracking great, okay?
We are aligned in our passions to help each other, to help people be their best selves. And I mean, and I think again that, the fact that you're a voiceover actor and I am, we seem to have that alignment of like, wow, our voices are amazing when we feel confident using them, and how much we can change the world for the better by helping ourselves and helping our achieve our dreams and our goals, and to make our relationships something that we feel like, at the end of our lives, we loved and were loved and felt seen and heard, and we heard and felt for others. So it's wonderful how we're aligned, because we are passionate users of our beautiful, powerful instruments.
That's it. And one thing, and I'm sure you hit on this, and I've told people this for years. People are like, I don't know, but my voice. I'm like, no. It's your voice. Nobody else in the world has your voice. It's a record of your life, good, bad, ugly. It doesn't matter. It is yours. There is nobody on this earth that has a voice like yours. Somebody can imitate it, but it ain't theirs.
It's not about being perfect. That's right. It's your unique voice. So that's why it's not about having the perfect voice, but just being empowered to use it and feel good about motivating or calming or inspiring, or just knowing, what we can do with it. And how we touch people. And again, I want to share that I have this affirmation meditation app. There's no strings. It's completely free. It's called Haven Guided Affirmations. It's a self-love app, be kind to our mind app. And I truly want to offer that, because mental health right now is so challenged. And this is a 10-minute guided meditation with me as your voice, helping you to get into a nice, relaxed alpha state, and then saying kind things to oneself and practicing. And there's a mastery of 10 minutes for wealth, health, depression support, marriage, leadership. So it's just something that I want to offer to everyone. Calm and Headspaces are similar, but right now not everyone can afford a subscription. So I want to offer this as an adjunct or in place to just help people to really keep giving themselves the 10 minutes of self-kindness a day.
That's important, because people don't do that.
Yeah,
you got to put it down on the calendar or something. You got to be able to say, okay, I'm going to have 5 minutes to myself, and people don't do that. I have a hard time doing that. I'm going a million different things, and then my baby boy's got something he's got to do, and it's, I got to do this, I got to do that. So it's hard to find that time. So I think that's important. I definitely want to help you promote that as well. So much here. I would love to do a part 2 with you sometime, if that would be good, so we could really dive in deep and just geek out on all the self-help and stuff. And I just love this stuff.
I know you're so great with it. I mean, again, I'm a big admirer of yours and how you share it with the world. So I'm
thank you very much. It's and I'm definitely I got to connect you with my wife and get you on her podcast too. I think you guys will hit it off perfectly, because I think the message is amazing. And you and I know it takes time. You just got to keep going and keep going and keep going. Is there anything you could tell anybody that, let's say, in the world, I call it the geek nerd world, that people that would know our voices, they would know all of the different things that we work on. That's kind of the sphere that I'm in, and a lot of them have never even heard of personal development. They couldn't tell you who Tony Robbins was. They couldn't tell you who Jim Rohn was, Norman Vincent Peale, any of them. They know nothing about personal growth. They don't know they have personal power. Is there anything that you could share with them, maybe a tidbit of wisdom, to say, hey, you do have it. Welcome. Just anything that can help them move down the road.
I would love to share something. I do believe that, again, I've studied Brian Tracy and Tony Robbins. I've always been into self-improvement and self-awareness, and I had to come from a place of a lot of self-hate and a lot of self-doubt. And I did learn from Brian Tracy, and I just reviewed The Psychology of Achievement is a wonderful audiobook. But Brian Tracy's a business guy who weaves in a lot of this spiritual aspect. But one thing that these are a few of my takeaways, that whatever we say after I am or I have consistently and with conviction tells our future. And our brains are like a hard drive of a computer, and most of us are operating on 40-year-old programs. That's the subconscious that we learn from 0 to 7, and we just take this information in, and this becomes our program. And the only way to change that program is a software update. So, the geeks that love to play games, could we run a computer on a 40-year-old program or a 1-year-old program? No, we need a software update, and software updates are what we tell ourselves. And so many of us have thoughts in our heads. They're streaming 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day unchecked, and 80% is the statistics are the same thoughts for the day before and the day before and the day before and the day before and the year before. So my empowerment is that start becoming the witness to our thoughts, and look at it and say, wow, is that a helpful thought? Does this serve me to think these thoughts? And if not, then use the idea that you can do a software update by learning a language. Now, can you learn a language in your head? No, you can't learn French in your head. You have to say it aloud. So the affirmations, again, I am or I have, and you really say it. And again, if in a state of alpha and a relaxation, if you do it with consistency and conviction, you can start rewiring and get that computer running to this year and this moment, as opposed to the old systems that no longer support you. So it's a lot to take in, but even just listening to the affirmation meditation app, starting to become the witness to your thoughts and saying, do these serve? Because our conscious mind is like, I want to do this and I want to do that and I'm going to achieve it. And then the unconscious, the subconscious, the part that's 95% of our brain, unfortunately, is the one that's like, nah, don't bother. You're never going to make it. But it's old programming. And it can be changed. It's just a matter of starting to not go down the rabbit hole. We are not our thoughts. We can start mastering our thoughts, but we have to start being aware of them and then reprogramming them. I just think that talking to yourself is a wonderful thing, but only nicely, as you would your best friend or your beautiful 1-year-old.
Testify. You know what? That is the best way to end this wonderful interview. That is something that they can take away and utilize right away. And if you're game, I'm definitely going to have you back on. And let's plan that future, because we can get even deeper in on this. And I just want to say thank you for coming on. This has been wonderful, lovely, and it's been a pleasure to really actually get to finally chat with you. And I look forward to all that you're doing. And just if there's anything I can do, obviously, I'm at your service. So
you are wonderful. It's an honor and a privilege to be with you, because again, I feel we're very much aligned, and the more of us that are out there trying to support beautiful souls that they can love and empower themselves, that ripple effect will change the world. And my goal is to get everyone to say once a day, who did I give great voice to today? Who did I move, touch, and impact? And even if it was just themselves, to say, I love myself, or I forgive myself, and I am beautiful, and I'm okay in this moment. This is one of my goals. And that would be something that you help me to do, and you do it so well. Give great voice, Mike.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Everybody, go find TasiaValenza.com, correct?
Yes, Tasia Valenza, Give Great Voice. And if they watch the TEDx, they'll love that 16-minute version of like what this means. That's a great way to kind of start checking out the way. And they can find me on LinkedIn, as we talked about, or any of the other platforms.
Yeah, and I'll get all the links from you, so you'll be able to find her in the show notes. Everything is great. Thank you so much for being here, Tasia, and thank you all for being here on the Mind Scrambler podcast. I will catch you on the next round. Have an amazing day.